Is Blue Origin a failure? Jeffrey Peterson Bezos is currently the world's wealthiest person. He attributes his success to many of his intelligent forays into different paths of the tech scene. Amazon has become a behemoth under his guidance. AWS and Amazon Store are both well-known and respected in their fields as established players. There is one outlier in Jeff's list of companies that doesn't have a very impressive portfolio. Blue Origin was founded in September 2000. Bezos had expressed his interest in getting humanity to space in his high school valedictorian speech in 1987. The 18-year-old Bezos stated that he wanted to preserve Earth from overuse through resource depletion. Blue Origin is funded by Bezos privately. Since 2017, he has sold $1 billion worth of Amazon stock each year. In its 21 years of existence, Blue Origin has made very little progress in terms of actually launching rockets. Despite being 2 years older than SpaceX, it has only done one functional rocket, the New Shepard. The rocket has only one crewed flight and a dozen of payload deliveries. This is in stark contrast to SpaceX, who are now developing their fourth launch vehicle and have over 100 successful launches. SpaceX has notably traveled to the International Space Station many times as well, as the Falcon 9 rocket is capable of reaching low Earth orbit as well as geostationary orbit. This is in stark contrast to Blue Origin, whose New Shepard rocket, which can only reach suborbital heights, making it useless in cases where satellites have to be delivered to geostationary orbit or go to the ISS. After New Shepard, Blue Origin has been working on the next vehicle in their lineup. It has been named New Glenn after a famous astronaut. The program received a boost after the United Launch Alliance announced that they would use the BE-4 engine that Blue Origin is building in its Vulcan rocket as well. The New Glenn program has its own fair share of problems and delays, but it has also delayed the Vulcan rocket too. ULA is pushing to have its first Vulcan rocket ready to launch by the end of the year, and Blue Origin's BE-4 engines are expected to be if not the, final piece added before launch. The engines have lower thrust and pressure output than the Raptor engines used on the Starship. The engines are also a safer design that leave performance on the table, meaning that Blue Origin is not taking advantage of its status as a relatively new company to the scene. New Glenn is said to have been delayed until at least late 2022. The launch provider is such a novice to launching payloads that even Amazon is not using Blue Origin. While Amazon has its own shareholders to appease, it did come as a surprise to many people, as it could have been used to show the capability of the launch platform. Amazon's Project Kuiper, which is also a copy of SpaceX's Starlink, has decided to not use the New Glenn rocket to launch its satellites, at least for the time being. For the Moon Human Landing System, Blue Origin unveiled the Moon Lander. It was a collaboration between Blue Origin, Northrop Grumman, Draper, and Lockheed Martin. Their proposal was closest to what NASA wanted. They had proposed a vertical stack of components. The national team, as it is called, has quite a few disadvantages on its side. Firstly, it is working with quite a few legacy companies, which bring their own bureaucratic slowness to the process, as well as their complicated processes and inflated costs. This made it difficult for them to compete with agile startups like SpaceX. $2.89 billion for Starship versus $5.99 billion for Blue Origin's Moonlander. Blue Origin was also behind SpaceX in the engineering department. They had prepared mock-ups of the spacecraft for viewing by officials and proposed at least 6 different propulsion systems that could power the vessel. However, they had not made any working prototypes or done testing. SpaceX, on the other hand, was moving faster than any of the applicants. They have already conducted test launches on various versions of the launch vehicle. SpaceX's experience in various types of rocket sizes and engine types also gave them an edge over Blue Origin. The design they had submitted to NASA was deemed a more possible and realistic launch vehicle versus the new and untested design by Blue Origin. This was also a factor that led to Blue Origin losing the contract. It is important to note that SpaceX was already developing the Starship when the contract bids were requested, but This goes to show SpaceX's experience and their forethought that a rocket with this functionality may be required in the future. Tom Mueller, an early SpaceX employee, tweeted once, "Years ago, people would tell me there is no business case for starships. How will you pay for it?" I said, "Lunar mission." The situation is so bad that even actual startups like Rocket Labs have overtaken Blue Origin's efforts with their own spacecraft. Jeff Bezos may have big plans, but he acts like a sore loser. Blue Origin was competing for the lunar lander contract against SpaceX. After the bid was awarded to SpaceX due to lower cost and better technical ability, Blue Origin has appealed to Congress to pressure NASA to reconsider its decision. Blue Origin also lobbied in Congress to increase NASA's budget just so that it could afford Blue Origin's pricier bid. SpaceX, on the other hand, was able to adjust its payment structure so that the government agency could afford the cost. The contract was also awarded only to SpaceX, rather than two companies as an insurance policy. This showcases the trust that NASA has in SpaceX's ability to deliver. At least 17 key leaders and senior engineers have left Blue Origin this summer. Those who announced their departure said it was due to management and bureaucratic difficulties. Others quietly updated their LinkedIn pages over the past few weeks. The Kennedy Launch Center is a very popular spot to launch rockets from. It also holds significant importance due to the part it played in the American space program. Its popularity can be gauged by the fact that Blue Origin tried to block fellow industry giant SpaceX from getting a 20-year lease for their 39A launch pad. Blue Origin wanted to get the lease instead and make it a spaceport for all companies would pay to use. Quite ironic, since at that time Blue Origin did not even have a functional rocket to launch. Musk and Bezos have frequently expressed their disapproval of each other, but Bezos does not like to get left behind. Blue Origin published an infographic that outlined how SpaceX's moon human landing system was dangerous and unrealistic. The astonishing part was the amount of false information present in that infographic. Everyone was quick to pick up on this dirty tactic to defame the reputable launch provider. Blue Origin employees have also said that Bezos has asked on many occasions if they could copy what SpaceX was doing. Doing that would be easy for a guy with pockets as deep as Bezos. He has offered to hire SpaceX employees at thrice their salary. Richard Branson is another billionaire that likes to dabble in the field of rockets. He recently went out to space aboard a Virgin Galactic spaceplane. This was just a week before Jeff's flight aboard the New Shepard. After the flight, Blue Origin was quick to point out that Branson had not gone to space, as they had not crossed the Kármán line. Jeff Bezos recently announced that he would be stepping down as Amazon CEO. He said that he would then have time to focus on Blue Origin and his other ventures. Let's see if the pace of innovation at Blue Origin increases, and we can see things beyond unveilings and promises.